This free game is amazing. This one is an absolute classic. This game is back from the dead. This one is as well. This game is incredible, and this one takes the genre to the next level. There are thousands of free-to-play games available right now, and I've been covering the best ones over the last 10 years. Of course, we have classics like Team Fortress 2, CSGO, and so on. But what about the true gems that nobody really knows? Well, my friends, you're in the right place, as these are the best free-to-play games that you've probably never played. Let's get straight into it. Let's start out with an absolute classic of a first-person shooter that has unfortunately hit hard times, and that's Dirty Bomb. This class-based, fast-paced, parkour-focused FPS leveled up the formula set by Team Fortress 2, and was the underrated crown jewel of the free-to-play scene in 2015. This was due to its high-quality gameplay, huge array of unlockable characters, detailed maps, unique modes, and overall game depth, which it still has to this day. A bad case of Nexon greed and overall game abandonment sent this game's trajectory downwards, and people moved on. 8 years later though, this game's still around. There is a small community of around 150 players keeping this game alive and relishing in this truly unique shooter experience that is probably one of my favourites of all time. A blast from the past is Black Squad, a free-to-play shooter developed and published by NS Studio. Featuring a unique blend of tactical and arcadey gameplay, Black Squad feels like CSGO but at a much faster pace. This makes it really good not only for round-based modes, but also team deathmatch and so on. Now, when this game originally came out, it really took the free-to-play scene by storm, but the release of Valorant very much overshadowed what Black Squad was trying to achieve. Despite this, the arcadey and tactical gameplay balance is still captivating and thus still holds a moderately sized community of 700 or so daily players, so 100% a game to revisit. Shifting gears, we have one of the best reviewed free-to-play games of 2023 that only a handful of people have played, and that's the bullet hell twin-stick shooter called Bloody Hell. Featuring frantic shooter gameplay with a twist, Bloody Hell is incredibly fun and is bolstered by its smooth animations, crisp controls, and awesome movement. Furthermore, this game also looks fantastic, with the pixel art style and visual effects taking things to the next level. With this said, it's easy to see why it has an overwhelmingly positive rating, delivering game quality that could easily be worth $10 or more, truly a hidden gem on the Steam store. The same could be said for our next game called Polygon, a free-to-play, low-poly first-person shooter that is not only criminally underrated, but also developed by a single person. This game originally came out in 2020, but has lived under the radar for no real reason, as the gameplay is Battlefield-inspired, it has huge maps and large-scale fights with up to 32 players. Weapons are customizable to your liking, and there are a lot of weapons to choose from, which is great, delivering a quality but also unique game experience. Now, the low-poly and easy-to-run visuals are definitely the thing that separates this from the pack, and given the success of BattleBit Remastered, Polygon definitely deserves more than 500 players a day. Now, a game that is completely different to the rest of this list is Dauntless, a Monster Hunter style action RPG that was released in 2019 across a variety of platforms, and I feel is still a game that is very much underrated. Dauntless very much follows a path trailblazed by Monster Hunter, but in this case it's much more user-friendly, easy to pick up, and more customized to the hop-in hop-out playstyles associated with free-to-play games. This, in combination with the cartoon but fantastic looking graphics, is a great package overall. The lack of huge success probably comes down to how niche this game is, along with the lack of content for veterans to sink their teeth into. However, if you're a new player, this is one game that is definitely worth trying. With that said, the next game is incredibly under the radar. It's a part arena shooter, part Minecraft building game called Sector's Edge. The concept for this is straightforward. You're thrown into a completely destructible blocky battlefield and you need to build structures that gain cover and outsmart your opponent. Sector's Edge combines this with extremely smooth and fast gameplay, quick building, and spot-on gun mechanics to really bring the whole package together. With this gameplay and incredibly low system specifications, you would think this game would be a hit. However, the community is quite small to the point where Sector's Edge will be shutting down on December 17th, 2023. Give this game the send-off it deserves. By far one of the weirdest games today is Babdi, a short first-person exploration game with a big emphasis on atmosphere and story. While it doesn't take long to complete, it's packed with detail throughout its playtime, with the dark, gloomy city being the focus and letting you question the story at every point. This does not detract from the gameplay though, with the cool movement being a nice touch as you explore this game bit by bit. With such a harsh exterior, I can understand people want to avoid this game, and given the low review numbers, that is true. but BABD truly is one of those hidden free-to-play gems you need to play. A game that doesn't have these previous problems is Helltaker, a single-player puzzle arcade title with an amazing soundtrack to boot. The concept is simple: complete levels and collect demon girls to expand your harem. Despite the unconventional concept, the game is a treat to play. You have a select number of moves per round, so you need to plan your approach, and it's addicting trying to crack the puzzles. The charm of this game really comes through in the art though. The 2D gameplay contrasts perfectly with the beautifully hand-drawn character cutscenes, showing a lot of love was poured into this. Despite having a lot of reviews, the amount of people playing this game has definitely slowed down, so make sure to go and check it out. Next is a criminally underrated FPS called Shadowline, a game inspired by Call of Duty, Apex Legends, Overwatch and so on, but with the polish not seen from many new free-to-play shooters. The gameplay is awesome and throws back to the nostalgic gunplay and movement of Call of Duty, while also featuring several traditional PvP modes such as TDM, Conquest, Plant the Bomb and Escort, along with the roguelike co-op mode called Expedition. To top it off, visually the graphics not only look fantastic, but it doesn't require crazy specs, only needing an 8th gen i5, 8GB of RAM and a GeForce 750 Ti. Despite the quality of this game, it flew under the radar with its release, but it still has a small community of 500 or so players, meaning this one is definitely worth checking out. The Savior from Above is a side-scrolling 3D adventure game that combines multiple genres and features various action and puzzle sequences. This is much more of a reflective, artistic game, and this is supported by the great visuals, intense atmosphere, and story that you get quickly engrossed in. Technically, it's super easy to run with low specs only required, and it will take about half an hour to complete, and it's just a true indie game that not many people have played, but is so worth checking out, especially as it's made by only one person. A large departure from the rest of this list is Tales Noir Prologue, a snippet of the fantastic noir-inspired detective adventure game Tales Noir. Beautiful looking 2.5D pixel art with a smooth, jazzy soundtrack sets the scene as you sniff out clues, collect evidence, interrogate witnesses, and choose which leads to follow. The gameplay has a sense of a point-and-click adventure but is much more interactive, allowing you to soak in the environment and really get attached to the story. Given it's a demo, I can't rave about it for too long, but this is such a niche and high-quality experience, it's something I couldn't help showcase given it's so underrated, and I pretty much guarantee you haven't played it. Despite our next game being made by only one person in 17 days, it's probably one of the best zombie shooter games available on the Steam store, and it's called Deathly Stillness. The objective here is simple, just kill older zombies, but the way you do it is incredibly fun in that the zombies are super fast and get right up in your face. All the other gameplay aspects are great too. Your bullets have a lot of impact behind them, the aiming, reloading, movement are all smooth, it's a fantastic shooter experience. Yes, it's got a lot of reviews, but this is one people have forgotten, and there's been a lot of updates since the initial hype. Check it out. Moving on to a game I almost guarantee you haven't played, we have The Supper, a game that delivers a super high quality experience in its own unique way. The story is one that needs to be experienced, but simply Miss Appleton needs to serve a special meal to some distinguished customers. The gameplay is a straightforward point and click, but the puzzles are challenging. The big draw though comes in the graphic design, which is in the form of beautiful pixel art, backed up with some amazing animations. The overwhelmingly positive rating does not encapsulate the magic of this game, and the fact that only a handful of people have experienced this is criminal. With its short runtime, there is absolutely no excuse not to check this one out. No doubt one of my favorites on this list, and probably the game of this list that I've put the most time into, is Ironsight, a fast-paced shooter that is heavily influenced by Call of Duty Black Ops 2. The gameplay is Call of Duty through and through, fast-paced boots-on-the-ground movement combined with twitch-focused hard-hitting gunplay that throws back to the COD of old. This is in combination with in-depth play and weapon customization along with years and years of developed content, a combo that was setting this game up for success. That success was short-lived though, as the former publishers and Area Games abandoned Ironsight, forcing the developers to self-publish. This was unfortunate, but the true killer was that progress could not be migrated over due to Area's negligence, and as a result, a bulk of the player base was lost, but somehow Ironsight survived. and is now a game I recommend you to play if you haven't. Next up, we have Aperture Desk Job, a Valve title that you may never have played for one simple reason. This game is awesome. It's a short game based in the Portal universe, but it's not Portal free. Developed as a showcase for the Steam Deck, it has all the humour and quality of the Portal series, but in a shorter, free-to-play format. The reason why you might not have played it though is that a controller is required, so if you haven't tried it out, buy a cheap controller and try out the final game on today's list.